Every morning, before your alarm goes off, before the coffee brews, before the day has any shape at all, your dog already knows you're waking up. And if your dog sleeps in your bed or right beside it, there's a good chance they've been watching over you for a while already. Most people chalk this up to habit, or neediness, or, if they've read certain training blogs, a dominance problem they probably need to fix. But behavioral science tells a very different story. What your dog is doing when they sleep near you isn't about control. It isn't even really about comfort, at least not in the way most owners assume. It's about something much older, much deeper, and understanding it might completely change how you see your dog. Meet Sarah. She's a 34-year-old graphic designer who works from home 3 days a week and commutes the other 2. She has a 4-year-old golden retriever named Finn. Every night, Finn sleeps at the foot of her bed, not under the covers, just present, paws tucked in, eyes half closed. And every morning, the routine is the same. Sarah gets up, makes coffee, gets dressed, and the moment she picks up her keys, Finn's energy shifts. He doesn't bark, he doesn't whine, he just follows her to the door, sits down, and stares at her with an expression that Sarah has never quite been able to name. She always assumed he was sad, maybe a little manipulative, the way dogs sometimes seem to know exactly how to make you feel guilty for leaving. So she started doing what most loving owners do. She'd give him a long goodbye, crouch down, hold his face in her hands, tell him she'd be back soon, that he was a good boy, that she loved him. It felt right, it felt kind, but Finn's behavior at the door never really changed. If anything, it got a little more intense over time. What Sarah didn't know, what most dog owners don't know, is that behavioral science has something very specific to say about dogs like Finn. And it starts with why he sleeps near you in the first place. In 2020, researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna published findings on what's called secure base effect in dogs. This is a concept borrowed from human developmental psychology, specifically from the way infants relate to their primary caregivers, and what they found was striking. Dogs don't just love their owners in a general, warm, fuzzy way. They form what scientists call an attachment bond, a specific, targeted emotional dependency on one or a few key humans. Think of it like an anchor. When that anchor is present, a dog feels safe enough to explore, to play, to rest deeply. When the anchor is gone, even briefly, the nervous system registers something closer to threat than inconvenience. Not because the dog is dramatic, but because biologically, dogs evolved as pack animals, where separation from the group was genuinely dangerous. That ancient wiring doesn't know the difference between you stepping out for groceries and something going permanently wrong. Now here's where the sleeping behavior connects. When a dog chooses to sleep near you, not because you've trained them to, but because they migrate towards you at night, they are actively regulating their own nervous system using your proximity. Your breathing, your warmth, your scent. These are biological signals that tell your dog's brain, the anchor is here. It is safe to rest.
A 2015 study published in the journal Science found that simply gazing into a dog's eyes and having them gaze back triggers a release of oxytocin in both the dog and the owner, the same hormone involved in human parent-infant bonding. So when Finn watches Sarah sleep, he's not being needy. He's doing something that, for him, is as natural and necessary as breathing slowly. He is co-regulating. Here's where most loving owners, without realizing it, make things harder for their dog. The long goodbye. It comes from a genuinely good place. You feel the weight of leaving. You want your dog to know they matter. So you linger, you reassure, you make the moment significant. But from your dog's perspective, that extended goodbye isn't reassurance, it's confirmation. When you crouch down, hold Finn's face and speak to him in a soft, serious tone, his nervous system reads your body language, not your words. And what it reads is something important is happening here. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to human emotional states. Research from the University of Lincoln has shown that dogs can distinguish between happy and fearful human faces, and they adjust their own stress levels accordingly. So when your goodbye carries emotional weight, even loving emotional weight, your dog absorbs that signal. The moment that was meant to comfort them becomes the moment that tells them something is wrong. Most owners do this instinctively, and there's no blame in it. But science-aware dog owners have learned to do something that feels slightly counterintuitive. They make the departure quiet, unremarkable, almost boring. Not cold, not dismissive, just calm. Because calm is contagious too.
When this dynamic goes unaddressed over months and years, it rarely stays the same. It tends to either intensify or internalize. Some dogs become more vocal, barking, pacing, scratching at doors. Others go quiet in a way that looks like they've adapted, but what research has called learned helplessness can look a lot like calm on the surface. The dog has simply stopped signaling their distress, not because they feel better, but because they've learned that signaling doesn't help. Over time, this affects the texture of the relationship itself. The dog may become hypervigilant to departure cues, your shoes, your keys, your bag. They may struggle to settle even when you are home because their nervous system has been in low-grade alert for so long. And the owner, sensing something is off but not understanding why, often doubles down on the very behaviors that created the cycle. More emotional goodbyes, more reassurance, more intensity around the moments of separation. It's not a failure of love, it's a gap in understanding.
Science-aware dog owners don't love their dogs less. They've just learned to lead with calm rather than emotion in the moments that matter most to their dog's nervous system. The shift isn't really about technique, it's about understanding what your dog actually needs from you, which is sometimes different from what feels natural to give. When Sarah learned about secure base attachment, she didn't change her relationship with Finn. She changed what she communicated at the door. She started leaving without ceremony, a quiet word, a hand on his back for a moment, and then out. And in the mornings before she got up, she started paying attention to something she'd always taken for granted, the fact that Finn was already there, already watching, already with her, before the day asked anything of either of them. That's not neediness, that's attachment, the real kind, the kind that behavioral science says is one of the most significant interspecies bonds ever documented. Your dog sleeps near you because to them, you are the safest place in the world. That's worth understanding. Dogs don't have language. They can't tell you that they feel safer when you're close. They can't explain why the space at the foot of your bed feels like the right place to be, but their behavior says it quietly every night. And the more fluent you become in what that behavior actually means, not what we project onto it, not what old training myths told us, the closer you get to your dog's actual experience of the world. That's what behavioral science at its best gives us. Not rules, not corrections, just a little more clarity, a little more closeness. If you find this kind of content useful, the slow, science-grounded kind, consider subscribing. There's a lot more of this to come.